Hello, 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 everybody. Phew. Okay, that went way up. Let's just do this. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Hope we're all doing good. Uh, as you can tell by the title of the stream, we're going to be talking about some creative writing today, um, which is basically just writing and expressing yourself in different ways. So yeah, let's get into the subject. Um, I want to talk about my experience with creative writing and what I have gained from it. Um, it's I have been writing about for about 10, 11 years now. Um, I first started writing as a form of escapism, um, whether it be in school or anything like that. I, I just wanted to get out of my own head and get whatever was in my head out. So one day I just picked up a pen and paper and I started writing. Don't know how, it just came naturally to me, you know. I put my pen on my paper, and all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I was started to write. So since then, I've written quite a bit. Um, I've written one book complete, 13 chapters. Went up on Wattpad. Now, what Wattpad is for aspiring writers, so they can publish their work and have it recognized by a community of other aspiring writers. I think I'm saying that right. Hopefully, I am. Um, so yeah, for me, it was a form of escapism, um, but it was also um, I also enjoyed writing. It made me feel um, a lot more relaxed, and it was a de-stressor for me at school when it came to school. Now, as you can see, I've got a book and a pen right here. Now, for any person, any creative person, a person that wants to just escape from it all, um, this there are many different forms of um, creative creativeness. There's writing, there's drawing. Now, I don't fall under the drawing category because I don't know how to draw or anything. Um, but I fall under the drawing category. I mean, the writing category. Um, Now, there are different kinds of writing styles, like there is with different kinds of drawing styles. Each person's drawing style is unique to that person. And the same thing is said about writing. Each writing style is unique to that person. Now, over the years, I've formed my own kind of writing style. Um, you get people um, who research for books and things like that. Sorry, I am thirsty. Um, they research stuff to write in their books. Me, on the other hand, I don't research stuff. I just take my pen and I put it to paper, and whatever happens, happens. Whether it be fiction, whether it be murder, whether it be whatever, you know. Um, it's something that I enjoy, and it's something that I can express my feelings and my emotions. That is what creativity is. It's something where you can express how you're feeling, your your emotional state of mind. Drawing and writing are just two forms of expressing your inner self. There's also painting. Um, it doesn't matter whether you can draw, it doesn't matter whether you can write or paint. If you feel like doing that, you do that so you can get whatever is in yourself out. That's why it's called expressing yourself in whatever you feel like doing. Gaming is also another form, but um, it's kind of expresses how you feel, but doesn't really.
At Macro,
Um,
true colors this festive season. Find your reason to
uh,
feel festive with over 80,000 products
let's
to choose from. The
just
destination for all.
so yeah. Now I started creative writing for one reason and one reason only, is because I felt trapped. I felt trapped at school, and I felt like I needed an outlet. I needed a release from everything that was happening around me. So I chose writing, and I've never looked back. I seriously have never looked back. As I've said, I've actually finished one book. I actually took it down from Wattpad. Um, I need to redo it. You see, because I actually did it on computer without writing it down first on a piece of paper. Now, what happens is, if you write everything on your PC and you do it like that, um, you might get instances where you lose everything that you've done. You've saved the file, and the file becomes corrupt, and you lose everything that you've written. That happened to me 3 times. Also, I was writing my first book, and each time I lost all of my work that I'd worked on. So I had to start from scratch 3 times, and I didn't take into account that writing things down on a piece of paper first would help you a lot. Because when you write down, it's a rough draft. It's just a rough thing of what you want to express in your writing. So before you actually sit down on a computer and start typing it out, you've got to first sit and write it out on a piece of paper. Just start. You've got a starting point and you've got an ending point. For me, I never actually had an ending point. I just had nothing, actually. I just sat down, put my pen to paper, and off I went. Now, I have scrapped like 2 or 3 projects that I was working on because I wasn't really feeling it. But that was after like 2 or 3 chapters. Um, so I went I got in with my mind wide open. I just sit down and I start writing. Now, when I start writing, it's because I want to, not because I need to. Um, so I've got that mindset. If I'm not in that creative mood and I can't express myself um, properly, then I won't write. I'll step back and I'll say, you know what? I just need to step back for a few. Um, the book that I'm currently working on, I've been working on for the past 2 years. So that's been that's been there in the back of my mind. Um, I started that book from nothing. You know, I just sat and I thought one day, you know what? I really need to just get something out of me. I need to figure out what I what I really want to write. And the next minute I knew I was writing, and it started. I started feeling a lot more happier within myself. And you've, as I said, you've got to be in that creative mindset. And a few weeks later, I wasn't in that creative mindset at all. So I stopped. I just stopped completely because I know if I push that, the stuff that what I want to write won't come out like I want it to come out. So I take a break and I wait for that creativeness to come back, to actually sit and be able to write what I want to write. Um, is the ratio between music and talking okay, or should I take the talking down a bit, because I do see that it is going into the red a bit. Um, but anyway, so writing. So as I've said now, I've been working on this book for 2 years. It's right next to me, in fact. Um, but once I've finished a chapter, I like to go over it first, read it, and then type it out. And whilst I'm typing, you see, because writing it out, as I said, is a rough draft, you know. Then you're going to go in and you're going to type it on computer. You might take things out and add things in. That is what I do. I take things out and I add things in. I don't research. I don't research anything. Whatever I write comes out from here. As soon as it pops in, it's on paper. Yes, I do think about how the story is going to go and where it's going to lead from the point that I'm writing. But then I remember that I shouldn't. Not say I shouldn't do that. Not saying that you shouldn't. It depends on the person. But I take a step back and I think to myself, okay, you know what? I know the route that I want to take my story, so I can't push myself in another route that I think the story might be good. Now that I should continue with the route that I took when I began the writing journey into this book, and that is let my pen do all the work. Let my pen take control. Because when you let the pen take control, you come up with the most amazing things you can ever think of. Well, at least what I have ever thought of. It was amazing to actually see it. With my first book, with my first book, I sat down. I didn't put pen to paper. I put my mind to my keyboard, or my hands to the keyboard. Now, as you can see, I'm still holding the pen. That's because at the moment, I feel like having a pen in my hand and a piece of paper on my lap. By the way, it's an A4 book. It's hard covered, so having it on my lap is no problem. If it was this, it would be a problem. As you can see, that is the book that I'm busy working on at the moment. As I said, I've got it right next to me. Right now, I've got like, let me just check how many pages if I can actually be typing out. 1, 13, it's about 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, 13, 18 pages. I've got 18 pages ready and waiting to be typed out. But the thing is, you've also I've got to be in that mindset. Again, I've got to be in that mindset that I actually want to sit down and I want to type this out. Now, I know people say if you want to write, then write. If you want to be a writer, then you've got to write every day. You've got to at least write a page every day. But I sit and I think to myself, if you want to write every day, if you want to write a page every day, that's fine, you know. But me as a person, as my own person, I think to myself, no, I don't do my best work. I don't do my best work when I have to sit and actually write a page a day. When I want to write, I want to write. And I will let my pen as I said, I'll let my pen do the writing for me. So that's what I do. I don't say that they're wrong. They're not wrong. If that's the kind of writer you are, then that's the kind of writer you are. It just depends on your personality and the writing style that you're going for. If you're one of those people who can sit and say, you know what, fine, I'll write a page a day. Cool. Done. Write a page a day. But for me, it's difficult because I want to write when I feel like I want to write. Now, it's been about 5 months since I picked up a pen and put it on paper. And most recently, it's been up here and it's been nagging at me saying, you know what, you've got a good book, you're not writing it, why? And I'm like, I think to myself, you know what, that feeling inside me is right. Why am I not writing? Why can't I write? And it's not a simple answer because I'm not feeling trapped at the moment. I'm not feeling... Okay, well, I am feeling down and I am feeling a bit trapped, so that is actually a lie. I'm trapped in my own house because I can't go out. I suffer from seizures, and it's very hot where I live. And hot and me don't mix together because if I overheat, that's an instant seizure for me. So I do feel trapped within my own house. Feel trapped within my own house. But that's just the thing. Now, moving on from that subject, when I stopped writing my first book, it took me about 8 years to finish it. But in between those 8 years, as I said, I had tinier projects that I was working on that I scrapped because I thought, you know what, this isn't really me and this isn't going to go finish well. I put too much thought into it. I put too much prep into it. I wrote everything down. I had another piece of paper where it laid out what the whole storyline was going to be and how it was going to end and yada yada yada. And then I took a step back and I realized to myself, you know what? This isn't going to end well for me. This is not me. What am I doing? Not saying that you shouldn't have things like that, because of course, if you've got a good book, if you've got a good book and you think it can work, then yes, put the time into it. But also, when you start making the characters, don't do what I have done. Um, Make a mind map. Now, when you make a mind map, it's going to lay out a few things for you. But what I do is I normally make a mind map. What I've started doing is recently I start making a mind map of the characters within the story. Now, each character has its own backstory. Each character has its own unique look. And to remember all of that is quite hard. That is why I have little pieces of paper. I haven't gone electronic because I have had it where my electronic detail, the mind map that I've made electronically has disappeared and has become corrupt. So what I've taken to doing is I've taken to writing on a small piece of paper what the character's age is, what the character's if the character's married or not, what the character looks like, um, what year the character was born, if they speak English or not. So basically, a short description of what the character is. So think of a biography. So this is like a short biography of each person that's in the book. Now, at the moment, I have I've only written a few characters down for the book, even though the book has got the book only has a few key characters in it. But the book has a lot more than just a few key characters. It has quite a bit of characters and quite a bit of characters that I haven't put time into, which is wrong. But for me, later on, I'll probably expand on those characters, those certain characters, when I've actually sit down and I've thought to myself and put the pen to paper and just written what that character's role is, what that character might look like, and how old the character might be, and what connections the characters have to each other. Now that is the key, the connections between the characters, how they met, where they met, how long they've been friends, or how long they've been dating. It's all intertwined, and you can't have the one without the other. So making my main character was quite easy. I haven't got them written down. Main characters up here, which I should have down here on a piece of paper, but I don't. And that's because, and I haven't actually said what the character looks like. So the character in your mind, you are the character. I want you to read the book as if you are the character. So the other characters have descriptions, the other characters have faces, names. I'm not saying that the main character doesn't have a name. I'm saying that I wanted to feel like you yourself have been put into the book as that main character. And you're experiencing things that main character has experienced. So, excuse me. That is what this book, this is printouts of the stuff that I've already done. It actually goes up to, I think it goes up to chapter 4. or chapter 3. I'm not too certain. But I will delve into the book that I'm busy writing at the moment. I think I will actually read you guys some of what I'm busy with at the moment. Um, the book that I'm busy with, because it's good. It really is good. I have had one other person read the book before, who was helping me edit it before I actually typed it out, and then edited it again after I typed it out and after I printed it down on a piece of paper, and removing paragraphs that shouldn't be there, um, helping me punctuate properly. Now you see, I'm good at English language, but I'm not that good. I struggle to spell words because I am dyslexic. Um, I struggle to. I don't struggle to. I form the story, but putting the story into the format that it's supposed to be in, is quite difficult for me. But slowly but surely, I have learned over the years how to do that. Now, as I was going through, um, I remember this one time actually, grade 8. We were in class. The teacher gave us an assignment. She said to us, "Well, guys, I would like you guys to write a short story." She gave us a picture. She's like, "I want you guys to make a short story on this picture." It was a black and white picture. Um, so I looked at the picture and I was like, okay, so how are we going to do this? How am I going to take this picture and make a story out of this picture? So it was about 5 minutes later, after she gave us the assignment, and she's like, okay, so the max words you can do is 250. Me being me, instead of 250, when I put my pen to paper, well, in this case, my pencil to paper, it basically, what I, so basically from 250 words, when I put my pencil to paper, it became 1,500 words within a matter of 5 hours. So after she gave us the project, it was like 5 hours later, 1,500 words. And I went back to her and I said, well, I've done the project. She's like, the max words were 250. You've gone to 1,500. So I'm like, yeah, you can't put a cap on creative writing. How can you put a cap on writing itself? Good day, good day. How are we all today? How are you today? Sorry. So yes, how can you put a cap on creative writing? And I was like, this. What are you talking about? I was only supposed to write 250. I can't just write 250, ma'am. It's not in me. She didn't mark me down because I read 250. That's true. That's true. You can only encode so many words. But yeah, it was quite a struggle for me because I like writing, and having that said to me it really put me off. It put me back, and I was like, okay, well, if this is how this is going to work, I don't really want to write for you guys because that is not me. I like writing, and this is what is going to happen. So Yeah, basically, I don't cap myself to any sort of standards when it comes to writing. Um, when I write for the joy of it, and as I've said, I don't look things up. I don't research things. Whatever's in here comes out. Pen to paper. The pen takes the pen. The pen is the thing that writes. So the pen basically takes over. That's it. Pen takes over. Done. And that is how I've made some of my best work. Is letting the pen take full control. When it when you don't let when I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but when I don't let that happen, as I've said, it doesn't end well. If I overthink things, it doesn't end well. Um, so very much not you. Why is that? So you saying that you like think about things before you even start them. Listen, there's no problem in thinking about things before you even start them. There are some things that I think about before I even start them, but writing is not one of them for me. You research, you think, you love constraints. Okay. Well, you see, as I've said, there are different types of people out there with different types of uh, styles. Take a drawer for instance. Now you get a drawer that draws or mimics a specific artwork because they like it. They like that kind of they like that kind of constraint. But then you've got an artist that actually just doesn't want to be constrained at all. They just want to create things for the sake of creating things, and they make these massive pieces of artwork. Um, that's each category has its own people or their own personality to it, and each person has their own way of either writing or expressing what they feel inside. And it doesn't matter how it comes out, whether it be writing, painting, um, sketching, as long as you can get what's in here or in here out, then do what you want to do. You know, it doesn't matter. But that is why you'll find some writers and some artists carrying around, as I said, carrying around a book or a notepad, something like that, because inspiration might strike anywhere. I've done that before and I've taken, but as I've said, um, finding that inspiration for me, what basically is for me, finding that inspiration is just putting my pen to my paper and be like, okay, you know what? You take over, we're going to write together, but you are going to take control, full control. It's up to you. And for my first book that I finished, and as I said, I published on Wattpad but took down, I want to go back to it and I want to rewrite it. 13 chapters over 50,000 words. It's not that big of a book, but it took me, as I said, 8 years. And as I said, the reason why it took me that long is because I can't sit down every day and say, you know what, I'm going to write today, I'm going to write today, I'm going to write today. I have to be in the right, you got to be in the right frame of mind to actually write or do anything creative. Because if you're not in the right frame of mind and you don't feel like, yes, today I want to do this and this is what I'm going to do today, I've never felt like there was a message I deeply needed to get out, or a self I deeply. Oh, yes, no, for sure. That is escapism. And as in the beginning of the stream, I said that, listen, I began my writing journey as an escapism from my life around me. I really didn't like school that much, so I just decided one day, you know what, enough was enough. I needed to get out of my own head. I needed to get out of whatever whatever life was around me. So I said, you know what, there's got to be something I can do. I don't do sports. I don't um, do choir, even though I did pick it up in high school. I don't do any of that stuff. I need an outlet, and I need it around about now. Otherwise, there are going to be some serious problems. And yeah, that's when I decided to put pen to paper, and Bob's your uncle. 8 years later, I had one book, 50 to 75,000 words. Now, that is a short book. That is a small book, but for beginner writer, that was okay. You know, for me to be able to express myself that deeply and be able to put it on a piece of paper was awesome. But I'll reiterate the fact that do it on paper first, because if that file on your PC becomes corrupt and you have to delete it, your work is gone, completely gone. And I had lost so much work that I had been working on for months, and it just got corrupt, and I had to delete the whole folder, like 3 or 4 chapters at a time. That's why it took me 8 years just to write the one book that I was busy with. But not only that, is I also took breaks because I felt that my mind wasn't in the right place at the time, and I needed my mindset in the right place at all times when I was busy writing. And most people can write a page a day and say, you know what, I like writing, I love writing, I'm going to write a page a day. As I've said, I'm not one of those people. When I want to write and it comes to me and I want to write, then I'll write, because that's when I do my best writing. I'll reiterate the fact that everybody is a different person and everybody has their own unique style of writing. So this is my unique style of writing. It doesn't particularly mean it's your unique style of writing or the person who's next to you's unique style of writing. They all have their own styles and sets of writing. Whether it be actually researching the book that you want to write, and actually making a mind map. Again, making a mind map is brilliant. I make a mind map of my characters once I've decided, you know what, this book is worth pursuing. So I'm going to sit down and I'm going to let my pen do the work, and I'm going to make a mind map of each character. And the layout of the book is what I write on the piece of paper. And from that is basically a rough thing for me to work with when I'm typing it on the PC. Because from here, I can take out and put things in, as I've said. When you take things out and you put things in, the book starts changing, but it starts changing for the better. If you've got ideas that actually work with the book and it actually integrates quite nicely, you're like, yes, okay, so this is going to work. And then if you don't have something that works quite nicely and it doesn't connect, and you find out in a few chapters' time, like when you've written, say now, like 5,000 words extra, and you're like, okay, I'm not liking where this is going, so we're going to have to scrap all of this and go back to where we were and what type of writing we liked in the first place. Um, that, as I said, I don't like doing that. Um, I'll stop myself immediately and I'll say, you know what? No, I started one way, and this is the way that I know and I love doing it. So that is the way that we're going to continue doing it. If I had to think about everything that I had to write down first, I think I wouldn't be as far along in my book as I am at the moment. But again, I'm not that far. I've got 4 chapters with 5 parts each in them. Well, maybe 4 parts, 5 parts for some. And then what I'm busy with now is a little side book within the book. What I'm busy with, let me tell you, I'm busy with a murder mystery. Now, this murder mystery, I've got an outline for, and I'm trying to set each chapter up so you can be immersed in what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to explain to you what's going on. And that's why I want the person to feel like they are the character. That's why I don't give the character a description. That's why I only give the character a name and an age. I want the person who's reading the book to actually feel like they are the person that's going around doing this. To me, that's what I'd love to see people do. I'd love to see people read my book and be like, you know what? I really felt immersed and I felt like I was really there. So setting up each scene is quite hard, because I've gone over my work about 3-4 times, and I think I will continue going over the chapters that I've done already. And each time I go over it, I take something out, and then I put something in because I think it will do a lot better in that space. And then I take some words out and I change them to the same meaning, but just a different word. And you'll be amazed at what kind of difference it makes to your book. You'll be amazed at the amount of depth that it actually gives. That's what you want. That is what you want to capture your reader. You want to capture your readers. You want to capture and bring them in and make sure that they stay and read the whole book. Now, let me do something quickly. It's I haven't let anybody read this book. There's only been one other person who's actually read the book and the synopsis for the book. Now, what the synopsis of a book is a short description of what the book will contain. So let's just get into there we go. So I want to read you a short the synopsis of the book, and from there you'll probably be able to get what I'm trying to write, or what I am writing. There is no trying in writing. There is only doing. And what a person does is their own thing. No, it's their world. It's what they want to write. You can't tell them that what they're writing is wrong, or you can give them constructive criticism, but after that, there's nothing more you can do. Okay, I want to quickly read something for you guys. Let's get into here. So the book's name is Rick Rogers, it's time to play the murder game. Now, it's, as I said, it's a murder mystery. Let's get into here. Okay, so that's the intro. Story details. Okay. So this is the synopsis of the book. It reads, Rick is no longer able to run from his past. When a body shows up at his school, it's a reminder that the past will always come back to haunt you, no matter where you go or how fast you run. With an old adversary on the loose, will these two new nightmares emulate the master, beat him at his own game, or start a completely new one? With a friend murdered, can Rick keep it all together, or will it all fall to pieces? Now that is the synopsis of the book. I don't know if it gets across the story that I wanted to get across. So let me give you some insight to the book. The insight to this book is we have a serial killer. Now, the serial killer, there are three different serial killers within this one book. Now, that could be overkill, I'm not sure. But the way I'm writing the book is it's like a battle between these three serial killers, the master being the original serial killer. Now, everything that takes place in this book is fictional, complete fiction. The names, the name of the school is complete fiction. The characters are fiction, so it is all fiction except the country where it is South Africa, so where I live, and that's not fiction. It's a real country. But the story that, as I'm saying, is I want to get across is that these three serial killers are battling for supremacy over not one place, over one country. But it's starting at the main character's school. Why it's called an old adversary? Because now you see I'm giving away details of the book here without people reading it. But the reason why it's called an old adversary is because when Rick was younger, he played a role in capturing the main serial killer of the whole story, the serial killer that is which is the main bad guy of the whole story, and he helped put this serial killer away when, let's say, he was about 10. I know it's not. They've never used. I know that in real life, cops have never used kids at that age to help bring down. Because this guy was a teacher. This guy was a teacher at his school. So cops have never used kids to bring down someone like that. So it's pure fiction, and I know that. How do I say this? No, I can't think of the word and how to say it. But anyway, would you guys like to actually hear the intro and a bit of the first chapter? Because I'm willing to do that, so you guys can actually get a feel of where the book is going. So if you guys would like to hear some of it, please let me know. Otherwise, yes, as I've said, writing is a passion, and it doesn't matter if you can or you can't. It's whether you're willing to try to find out, and to find out that thanks, man. I didn't know that you like the only one here. Just doing it so if there is anybody else that was in the chat, you know. But if you're the only one here, then are you up for it? Hopefully, maybe somewhere down the line there'll be more people coming in. But hey, it doesn't actually matter that you're the only person here, or what matters is if there are people that come in and a person is not speaking about what they are passionate about. I play games. I play games most of the time. Like Minecraft. I'm deep into Minecraft because it's another form of expression. Ah, okay. Thanks. I will do now. Let me update. So you say reading aloud tag. Okay. Thanks for that. So yes, it's another way to express yourself, because it might only be blocks, but there are some amazing things people can do with just blocks, you know. So let's actually get into this, because okay, let's get here. I want to be able to read this properly. Now, this has not been released on Wattpad. It's currently there, but I haven't released it because, to be honest, I am afraid of releasing my stuff. It's something that I'm really afraid of, because I haven't completed the book, but I've got chapters that is ready and waiting to just be read. So yeah, it's a worry for me, because I'm worried what people might think, and I know I shouldn't, but I am. Okay, so let's turn down the music a bit, a little bit more, or up a bit. Okay. So it goes as followed. This is the intro to the whole book. So, it was a cold, wet and cloudy morning outside of the South Gauteng High Court in South Africa on July 25th, 2024. Now, as it says, it's outside. So this is a reporter. Hi Mal, thanks. We are coming to you live from just outside the courthouse, where it's yet again the first day of the people against Lee Lennon, who dubbed himself the Marauder Day Killer, aka MDK. No one knows why or what it means to himself. What we do know, though, is if this case is going to be anything like the others that have taken place in this very courthouse, then it's going to be a very long, exciting, and tiresome trial for everybody involved. Now, this was the lady reporter. Well, Haley, this will be the first time that news crews will be allowed into the courtroom for this specific trial. We haven't been able to report live from inside of the courthouse for any of the other trials involving the MDK or his son, for that matter. So this is going to be very exciting. Yes, I know, Mal. However, the strange thing is that Mr. Lennon asked um, if the news crews, okay, I need to change that, would please be permitted into the courtroom so that the whole world would be able to see the trial. What do you think he is playing at? Now, bear in mind, I forgot to say that there is going to be some foul language every now and then some innuendos, adult innuendos, but they're very subtle. I do not, Haley. I do not know, Haley. If I were a criminal, why would I specifically ask for news crews to be allowed in and report live from within a courthouse? Okay, now this skips directly to our main character. So, um, he said, I can answer that one. He is an overconfident, sadistic, attention-seeking son of a bitch. He said, walking away from the TV. Now, this is someone that's beside him and has been with him throughout this whole journey since he was since they first captured this guy and put him away so many years ago, and has been with him throughout the whole new ordeal that takes place at his school. Now, this is years into the future. We'll be traveling back in time pretty shortly. So it goes. Easy Rick. Sorry. Haven't read this in a while. Easy Rick, there are a lot of people watching and listening to every word we say. Not to mention reporters. Serenity whispers to me. Seriously, Seren? You know that we have been through this many times. I know, but still, watch what you say, please. Okay, I'll behave. Thank you. Okay, so that happened between the time of them finishing watching the TV, up to them getting to the doors of the courtroom. So, as we walked in, I paused to take in the scenery. Once again, I was actually hoping I would never see myself back in this fucking place. In the courtroom, they had approximately 4 to 5 rows of old cherry brown wooden benches, and in one row it had about 7 benches, one behind the other. In the middle of the room, a wooden divider with a small swing door that swung both in and out. On the other side of the divider stood 2 long tables with 3 chairs at each table. Then a big gap leading to a big, long, and tall rectangular wooden stand called a witness stand that sat below the judge and right across from the stenographer. Now, for those of you who do not know what a stenographer is, it's the person in the courtroom that sits there and they type on a little machine. So they type everything that either side is the defendants and the people prosecuting. So yeah, on either side of those, and what the person on the stand is saying. Stenographer. The stand had a small black mic and a bar stool that if a person had to sit on, she would pray their ass didn't fall asleep or get numb from sitting on it too long. Now, I'm not sure if that is true or not. I'm just putting it in there um, to make it seem a little bit more real. So, to be honest, I'm actually hoping that it actually is the case. That if a person actually does sit there too long, that they would hope that their backside doesn't get that or fall asleep. So, okay, so a lady is approaching from behind, and she says, "I hope you are ready for a long and tiresome trial." Huh? I turned around. Oh, hey, hey, Dana. I'm not sure we all have been through this so many times. One would think that we would be used to it by now, I said as we walked down between the rows of benches. You never get used to it, Rick, she said, patting me on the shoulder. 4 hours later, after all the opening bullshit and not even halfway through the first person's testimony, Dana jumped up enthusiastically. Objection, Your Honor. Defense is clearly badgering the witness. Your Honor, I sincerely was not. All I was doing was getting my point across and asking that he answers the question honestly, the man said smugly, as if he were untouchable. Sustained. Move on, Counselor, the judge said, banging his gavel. Okay, Your Honor. I'll move on, the man said, wiping his nose with the handkerchief and putting it back in his pocket. As I sat back on the bench, I wondered how in the world we had gotten here. Everything seemed to be so easy up until April 24th, 2013. Then everything changed. Okay, so that was just the intro. Now, that doesn't get, I know it doesn't get much across, but that sets the scene that most of what's happening is actually taking him back to when they first discovered when this guy first got out of prison. So that is the intro, basically, just showing you that this whole thing is actually taking place in this courtroom, and he is just thinking back on how the hell they actually got to where they were today. That's in the book, by the way. So what do you think so far? It's a bit different from what my first book was, to be honest. It actually shows how far I've come as well. I'm not used to reading my own stuff out loud, so this is actually no problem. This is actually strange for me to do. As I'm saying, I've never been able to speak in front of a lot of people or a wide audience of people, so I'm just cautious of how I say things and how I put things across. And as you can hear, I am stuttering a bit, and I am having to take a break and look and see. I have read this book quite a few times myself, and trying to get it to where it is now. So it is a bit worrying for me. Okay, so now we come to chapter 1, part 1. So now this is called, each section of the book is going to have a different name. This is called Jackal. Now, Jackal, let me give you a quick backstory on Jackal. Jackal is the son which you'll be hearing shortly down the line. Jackal is basically the son of the Marauder Day Killer, which you've seen in the intro. We read there quickly that Lee Lennon and his son. Now, it doesn't say who his son is, or did it? MDK and his son. Wait, did I say? No, I don't think I did. So this book is, this chapter, this part of the book is called Jackal. Chapter 1, Part 1. Now each killer will have their own part in the book, and each killer will have their own chapters, like from chapter 1, so on and so forth. And it will jump around, going back and forth. So basically, what I'm trying to set up is, when you read the book, when you reach the end of the first Jackal, when you reach the end of Jackal that's going on to the other serial killer, you can either read through it, or you can skip from that serial killer back to reading about Jackal again, this specific killer. Now, as I said, there are 3 killers in the book. The main killer, which we will be focusing on, is the MDK, Marauder Day Killer. Now, don't worry, I actually have done research on these parts about Jackal and MDK, and to see if there's been any killers known like these names. But no, there have not been. Sometimes you do have to do research to make sure, if it's a book you want to get out there, you've got to make sure that that it has nothing, that it contains nothing, or it contains no plagiarism to maybe real life events or other books. So, person's got to be very careful about that. Chapter 1, Part 1 is basically 1,338 words. Not much, but as I said, it is a thing to change. So the more I read it, the more I think to myself, okay, well, I can change this this here and put something like this in, change this word over here. It just changes the whole book. Let me put the aircon down a bit. What? Okay, so now we are Wednesday, April 24th, 2013, Molten High. Now the dates do match up to what it was in 2013. Molten High does not exist, well, not in South Africa at least. As I'm going to say again, this whole book is based on fiction, not reality. So here we go. After breakfast, I made my way to school from the hostel. Now, what a hostel is hopefully most of you know what a hostel is. A hostel is a boarding school. It's actually the part of the school which boarders go and stay at. I walked out to the hostel gate and onto a small gravel path that led to a set of classrooms that had tennis courts directly in the middle of the quad. So classrooms basically surrounded this tennis court. Okay. Courts directly outside. Gravel path, classrooms directly outside of them. Tennis courts, you got the toilets. The toilets were situated in the middle. Okay, sorry, I skipped the line there. Middle of the quad with the classes surrounding the toilets. Sorry, not the classes surrounding the tennis. Uh, yeah, tennis courts. Um, I wandered down one of the many corridors aimlessly when something caught my eye. I turned to face it, but I could barely make it out from where I was standing. So I took a few steps closer. Everything started to come into focus. I could now make out that it was a police officer pacing up and down as if he was contemplating something. I walked a little closer, and now I could see yellow tape. That tape, the tape they used in those crime shows, such as CSI, Criminal Minds, or any criminal show on TV. It was cornering off one of the corridors. Okay, there's two offs. Okay. Cornering off one of the corridors. Now I understand. Stood the pacing up and down. At this point, all I could think about was how much of a nightmare it was going to be getting to our classes. Now, if you have ever been in a school with hallways, narrow hallways, and so many hallways, but only like two main hallways, then you would understand that it's going to be a nightmare if one of those hallways is blocked off, because everybody will be trying to go up and down just the one hallway, and basically it would just be a complete and utter nightmare. I went a little closer, and now the officer had stopped to talk to one of the groundsmen. That is when something else caught my eye. It was a white sheet on the floor, and some blood pooled on the ground. I said to myself that I should just move on and forget I ever saw that. However, curiosity got the better of me. What did they say? Curiosity killed the cat? Yeah. This is the beginning of the end for our dear friend over here. Before I could walk any further, a friend came running up to me and stopped me. "Did you hear?" He said, trying to catch his breath. No, Alan. No, Alan, what was I supposed to have heard? Someone got murdered here. I thought that school was meant to be boring. This is so exciting, isn't it? He said, almost falling over in excitement. Alan, get that excitement out of your voice. There is nothing exciting about a dead person. A person is dead. To be excited about. I need to change this up again. Damn, Rick, don't you have to Damn, Rick, you don't have to constantly bring everyone down. At this point in the conversation, I just pushed past him in such a way that basically said, what the hell is wrong with you? Just by the look on his face, said that he knew exactly what I was saying. I was only a few feet away when the wind picked up and blew the white sheet off the body and down the corridor, revealing a young girl lying motionless on the ground, spread out with blood everywhere. On the floor, the walls, some even on the ceiling. A strange smell covered the air as I drew closer, but I just shook it off and went on. After taking my time, I was finally right next to the tape, and there she was, lying face up, her body lying motionless and posed in a position, left leg broken and bent in a very strange way. Right arm was bent up and around her head. Something else now caught my eye. There was writing on the wall, blood writing. It read, "Guess who's back, Mr. Rod." The tail of the D trailed off as if he were interrupted. Also written in blood were the letters GLICM. The G was situated about 10 centimeters above her head. Left arm was the letter L. Stomach, the letter I. Right arm, the letter C. Finally, the letter M was situated 10 centimeters away from the bottom of her feet. There were other letters written in blood, R, E, G, and S, were drawn all over the place. As I looked in shock, a strange voice came from the left of me. "Good day, young man. Can I help you?" a cop asked. I could not move. I couldn't even speak. I was just stuck in one spot in time and space, motionless. "Hey, young man, can I help you?" the officer asked again. Is there? I could barely speak. I could feel my throat close up. My mouth was so dry. "Is there, what?" "A rabbit on her left hand, in between her thumb and index finger." I forced the words out of my mouth. "Detective Victor, can you please tell me if there's a rabbit between the thumb and the index finger of the victim's left hand?" Now, the significance of the rabbit, you'll probably find you'll find out later. But the significance of the rabbit and the placement of the body is only think to this one killer, and that is, well, you'll see soon enough. But that is the only not the only sign of the killer, but it's whatever I've just read up to this point is his MO from start to finish. There are other details that will come later on that I have kept out of the book for now, for a reason, and that reason being it is quite hectic. Quite hectic for a person to read. There are some hectic places in this book, I can tell you that much. But for now, let's continue. I looked over and I saw this man getting to his feet after kneeling down over the body. The man was a middle-aged Arab with short, dark brown hair, scary light green eyes, moustache, and a beard. He looked very intimidating, and something about him put me on edge. "Why do you ask?" The detective asked with confusion in his voice. When you copy and paste things like this to a site like Wattpad, you've got to go through it, and you've got to go through all of it to make sure that the writing that you had actually does match up. Because as I'm reading this now, Some of the writing has clumped together, so it's making it a bit awkward to read. Okay, so the detective asked with confusion in his voice. There is a young man here who is asking. Okay. There's a young man here asking. Well then, let's see then. Well, let's see then. Well, let's see then, shall we? Let's take that out. That should not be there. Okay, so basically what you have kind of missed is the main killer's MO. So what the main killer's MO is let me reread that for you. I'm going to quickly paraphrase this. His MO is woman between a certain ages of 16 and 32, and the way that body is displayed is the left leg is broken and the right arm is strewn over the victim's head. Also with the victim is one of his catchphrases, which is GLICM, which is situated as the G is the top of the head, the L is on the left arm, I is in the middle of the chest, C on the right arm, and M down at the bottom of the legs. Okay. Well, let's see then. Shall we? He bent down and picked up. Oh, and there's a rabbit in between the thumb and the index finger of the left hand. So, let's see then, shall we? He bent down and picked up her hand by the wrist. Sorry, with black gloves. Well, I don't see any. Hang on, he said, spreading the fingers apart. Actually, yes. There is. I forced myself to swallow, trying not to let them hear me gulp. How did you know that, kid? I've got a name, and it's Rick Rogers. Well, Mr. Rogers, why would you ask such a question? The detective asked, taking off his gloves and coming out to the crime scene. Just curious, detective, that's all. Well, Mr. Thimble. I'm sorry, detective. My surname is not Thimble, it is Rogers, I said, interrupting him. Of course. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Well, Mr. Rogers, I would like to know how you knew that there was a rabbit on her left hand. As I tried to back away, I said, "Don't know, it just came out." What do you mean it just came out? By came, detective, which do you mean? Came as if I just came, or I came here just the other day? Excuse me. Excuse me? He said, absolutely shocked that a young man his age could actually had the balls to say that to an adult. Before the detective could finish, over in the distance came a voice. Hey Rick, did you forget that you are buying this morning? A lady shouted. Okay. Sorry, I'm making changes whilst we're going on here because copying and pasting did not do this well at all. Okay. Sorry, detective, it is time for me to go. This was good, though. We need to do it again sometime. Take care now, bye, I said, turning around and running off. Until next time, Mr. Rogers. Now, the lady who called me, her name was Gemma. Gemma and I were a part of a group of 5 people, and their names were, okay, that is not right. Fiona Bilson, female, tomboy, white, 5'5", short, yellowy orange hair, shocking red eyes, 16 years old, sports, academics, soccer, cricket, hockey, tennis, choir. And that is all the things that she is good at. And that why I need to go through this again. So Peter Grayson, colored, 6 foot, no hair, greenish blue eyes, 17 years old, sports and academics, cricket, academically inclined. Dave Goodwill, male, black, 5'1", short, red hair, dark brown eyes, 15 years old, sports and academics. Gemma Sanders, female, colored, 4'9", green eyes, spiky blonde hair, 16 years old, sports and academics, academically inclined, ballet dancer, aspiring singer, and hockey. So what that basically tells you is what they're good at in academics and sports and things like that, what they do, and how they look. But it doesn't get into what their voices sound like. Finally, Rick, what took you so long? Peter said, pulling me into a bro hug. Hey man, I got sidetracked for a second. By what, or is it a who? David asked with a quirky look. It looked like he was talking to the police, Gemma said, shrugging her shoulders. Sweet, Dave said with a grin on his face. So it's true, he asked, trying not to smile. So is what true? That there is a body? Yes, Dave, it is true, I said, shaking my head. Man, I thought it was just a hoax. Unfortunately not, I said, trying to hold back all the emotions that I was feeling at that point. Now, let's get to the important stuff. Coffee and hot chocolate. I've got to add one more there, tea, but let's leave it as that. The same as usual, or? I think so, Rick, Fiona said, rubbing his back. Okay, 3 coffees, 2 hot chocolates, got it, I said, walking away from him. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 1, part 1. Now, as I said, there are 4 parts to each chapter. Some chapters having about 5 parts, like chapter 3, for instance, has 5 parts. Chapter 4 has 4 parts. And then, of course, the side book within the book. Now, that is only a few things of what, just a bit of what I've done with that book that I'm busy with. The book up until present as I've said, has taken me about 2 years to do. Now, for anybody who's aspiring writer out there, just write. All I can say is just write. Write what comes naturally to you. It's all going to end up the same. It's not all going to end up the same way, but write what comes naturally to you, not to anybody else, to you. Don't worry about what other people say. As I said before, I started reading. I was afraid. I'm afraid of letting people read my work, so that's why I haven't published it yet. It's sitting there waiting to be published. Up to the side book. While halfway through the side book, as I said, I've still got about 18 pages still to do of the side book. Well, typing it out anyway. But don't constrict yourself to how many words and how big you want something to be, or how big you want a book to be, or how much you can write. Writing is supposed to be an expression. You're supposed to be able to express yourself with writing, and that's what I've done there. Is I've basically been expressing my writing and my own little world. It might seem strange to some that it's like murder and mystery and mayhem. There is, as I said, some adult content in there, but that's because it's not aimed at the younger age group. It's aimed for about teens and upwards. So yeah, if I wanted to write something for kids, I would have kids stuff written. But as I've said, this book is not for kids. I would say at least 16 years and up would be able to read this book. There is some graphic details, but I have left out on purpose some more graphic details about the main serial killer. Now, the main serial killer, what he has with one of his MO is also what he does is he takes. Okay, what I'm about to divulge here is really hectic. So this is a spoiler warning, and it is a hectic one at that. What he does is he basically looks for, as I said, girls between the ages of 16 and 32 that are pregnant. Now, they are approximately 5 months pregnant. And what he does, I don't think I should actually go into it, because serial killers, as you know, take trophies. So I've been hesitant to put what I want to put in there because that is quite hectic. That is quite hectic, what I want to put in there. But yeah, creative writing is something that I'm probably going to do for the rest of my life. It's what I love doing. Getting back into it, I really do need to get back into it. It's something that I really need to do. But yeah, it's I can hopefully later on I'll be able to write something for kids. I have got a kind of true life story, but it's not a true life story. It's a heartwarming story. It is on It is on Wattpad. It's called A Day in the Life of Ben Wright. It's a short story. Basically, it's about a lesson that needs to be learned. The lesson, you do get books with lessons, and this is one of them. But this is a very short story. It's like maybe let's see how many words it is, because I don't think it's that big. Okay. Day in the Life of Ben Wright. It is approximately hasn't got that many views. It's 2,237 words. Now, A Day in the Life of Ben Wright is about a kid. It's about a kid who had this fantasy life, and the actual life that he led was a lot different to what the fantasy life that he had made himself was. So yeah, that is. I won't read it to you. If you guys would like to see it, it is on Wattpad. It is called, and I'll say it again, it's called A Day in the Life of Ben Wright. However, Rick Rogers, It's Time to Play the Murder Game is not published yet. I do want to publish it, but as I've said, I'm a bit afraid to. So when this thing goes up on YouTube, if you want me to publish what I've gotten so far, please tell me and I will publish it, and you guys can take a look at it. We came up with It's Time to Play the Murder Game. It was actually my mother that came up with it, because I didn't know what to call the book. I just thought Rick Rogers, you know. But my mother came up with It's Time to Play the Murder Game. So yeah, let's actually go on to chapter 1, part 2. Now things are getting a bit more interesting because of what's taking place at the moment. This is the body is aimed directly to him, saying to him, well, listen, you thought I'd be gone for quite a while. Guess what? I'm back. Guess what? I'm back. 15 minutes later, I was back at the group with coffee and hot chocolate in hand. Yes, finally, it has arrived, Dave said loudly, snatching his coffee out of my hand. Easy, Dave. You don't want to spill anyone else's drinks. By the way, as I've said before in the beginning of the stream, well, almost halfway through the stream, I have taken a picture before and made a story out of it. So if you guys, I've got a Discord server, and if you press ! Discord, it should bring up my Discord link. If you guys would like to send a picture over to there and want me to write a story about it, I'm more than happy to. We'll see where we can go. Maybe we can do something awesome. Maybe we can do something awesome. You know, write something on stream with you guys. So yeah. Dave said loudly, snatching his cup. Okay, we read that. I said, trying to keep all of the other drinks from spilling, and just saying, what? And just saying, I won't clean up that mess. Oh, and by the way, that will mean that you're buying everyone new drinks. Thanks, Rick, Fiona said, rubbing my arm, all flirtatiously. All flirtatious-like, sorry. As I stood there, I drifted off in memory. It was now 2005, and there Saren and I sat in the same courthouse with a different judge. Mr. Lennon, please rise. The courtroom went dead. Dead silent. What? I'm silent. Let me be honest, Mr. Lennon. If South Africa had a death penalty, I'd give it to you with no hesitation whatsoever, and sleep like a baby. However, South Africa doesn't have the death penalty anymore, so I will have to do the next best thing. Next best thing. I'll have to do the next best thing. The judge paused and sighed, then took a deep breath. Mr. Lennon, for 5 accounts of premeditated murder that we know of, and also for breaking out of prison, I sentence you to a minimum of 7 years. What? 7 to 10 to the maximum of 10 lifetimes imprisonment. He said, banging his gavel. Take him away. Stanton, Rogers, this isn't over, not by a long shot. I will return. You can count on that, he said, slipping out of the officer's grip and barreling towards us like a train under power, trying to get to both of us. Luckily for us, some of the officers got involved and managed to stop him before he could get to us. Both of you are dead. Dead, you hear me? Dead. Rick, Earth to Rick. Are you still with us, Rick? Fiona got pissed and elbowed me in the stomach. I snapped out of it. What the hell was that for? I shouted out loud. Maybe because you're a big dick, Fiona said, all annoyed with me. That's fucked up, Fiona. What the hell did I ever do to deserve that? Just being you, sometimes you dumbass idiot. Okay, maybe I should be changing some of the story up. Gee, thanks, Fiona. Guys, I've got to go. I'll see you guys at break. I said, my face turning red with anger. That Fiona had the audacity to even say that to me. Oh, Rick, see you at break. Okay, Rick, see you at break, Jem said as I walked away. As I made my way to register, my mind tried to consume me, tried to drag me down, but it never worked. I managed to keep it at bay, but I knew that he was coming for me. Sorry. As it dawned on me that he was here and that he might or most definitely be watching me, I took off like a cheetah after his prey. I ran to the hostel and to my room on the 3rd floor of D Block. I opened the door to my room. The room had 2 beds, 2 cupboards, and 2 desks on either side of the room, with 1 window in the middle. I closed the door behind me and went directly to my cupboard on the right. Pulling the doors open, I knelt down, pulling wooden floorboards up and revealing a small grey box with a latch in it, and attached To that lock was a small but hard to break lock. Inside the box lay a gun, an auto pistol. Sorry, a Roger LCP 380 auto pistol with 2 extra magazines. Now, what a magazine is the cartridge for the gun, where the bullets are stored. As I picked it up, I heard this eerie voice. Now listen to me, Rick. You take this and you keep it with you, but hidden. You remember that what I taught you. Saren, you can't give this to me. I'm a minor. This isn't right, I said, looking at the gun she was putting in my hand. No, what isn't right is you not having anything to protect yourself if this man gets out of prison. She pauses for a second and took a deep breath as she knelt down in front of me and grabbed my shoulders gently with her hands. Her face dropped with concern. The concerned look on her face. Listen, Rick, I brought you into this thing, and if anything had to happen to you, that would be on me. And I, for one, don't want anything to happen to you. Do you understand? And do you remember what I taught you? Bring! The bell went off. I shook my head and came back to the present. Back to the present. Looked at the gun lying in the box, and I picked it up and slipped it into my blazer. Then put the box back and planks back on top of that. Sorry. About 6 minutes. About 6 minutes later, I was standing outside my register class with my hand against the wall, trying to catch my breath. I turned into the class when I heard this from the teacher. Mr. Rogers, you are late. Yet again, this is your second time this week that you are late. Now, please take your seat. Yes, sir. My voice deepened. Okay, students, please pay attention. I have been by the headmaster to talk. I've been asked by the headmaster to talk to you about a tragedy that occurred. He paused as he sat on the edge of his desk. In the early hours of this morning, he continued, the police were given a tip that they would find a body on the school premises. So, needless to say, that is why there is such a hectic police presence here today and for the next few days until they know that everyone is safe. The headmaster has also doubled security at the school. No sooner as he had finished the sentence, a girl with a grainy voice asked, "Was the person a member of the school, Mr. Silverstone?" "Well, Amanda, I don't want to lie to you guys." "Then don't, sir," she said, and silence covered the classroom. Mr. Silverstone was taken back by how Amanda answered him. He took a deep breath and said, "She was unfortunately was a student that attended this school." He sighed. She was a student?" one of the girls said, sitting up in her chair. Who is it, sir?" "Well, we do." "It was Megan van Langston." Megan van Langston. I couldn't help myself. I just shouted it out. "Not Megan," the class erupted, everyone talking over each other. "Class, settle down. Settle down, please." The class started to go silent. "All right, Mr. Rogers, how do you know what her name is before any of the other teachers do?" Bring! Sorry guys, hang on. Be back. Sorry, I'm back. Um, Sorry about that. Um, I'll have to be ending my stream soon, but I will be back in a couple of maybe. I might come back tomorrow and we can talk more about writing and or write something. Yeah, let me first finish what we were busy doing here. So, as the bell rang, I breathed a sigh of relief. No one is living and leaving until we get answers from Mr. Rogers over here. Okay. No one's leaving until we get answers from Mr. Rogers. Oh, I saw the body, sir. I said that as everything in my body shuddered. How do you know that it was her? You don't even know her, a girl yelled from the back of the class. That is rich coming from you guys, I said, with anger bubbling up within me. How dare you? How dare I? Can you sit there and tell me, how can you sit there and tell me you guys ever gave her the light of day? No one, not at all. You guys only had time for her only if you absolutely needed to. You guys never sat down with her and asked her how she was. No, none of you guys did. Now, if you will excuse me, I've got to get to my next class before I'm late for it and get detention, I said with absolute anger in my voice and my face turning red. I picked up my bags and walked out of class. That will be all, class, Mr. Silverstone said. Absolute shock. Said in absolute shock. Bzzz, my phone went off. I looked at it and it was a message. Hey R, what's up with that? Need to talk. Break. You and me, no excuses. Now run before you're late for the next period. As soon as I put my phone away, I took off to get to my next class before the rest, but it was no use. As soon as I saw the teacher's eyes, I knew that I was done for, and that there was nothing that I could do about it. Well, now, Mr. Rogers, this is your third time late this week, now isn't it? She said with a big smile on her face. How in the world? Never mind. Well, aren't you concerned? She said, smiling like a Cheshire cat. from Alice in Wonderland. You were late for register, were you not? Well, there is no point in hiding it, now is there? Because I know that you teachers have a secret system on your laptops that you guys write, no, sorry, type out all our late comings. Well, aren't we smarty pants? Now that is enough out of you. Now then, rules are rules, Mr. Rogers. This is your third strike, meaning detention and a red letter to go on top of that. Meaning for the next 3 weeks you're in detention. Man, that is so unfair. Some of the classmates said trying to hold back what they really wanted to say. So that's enough from all of you. Get into class before I decide to leave you all out here. Oh, and Mr. Rogers, people with detention and red letters are no longer welcome in my class. Those were the last words I heard her say and shut the door and turn and walk into class. And that is that for that. Yeah, as I said, I'll probably be back on tomorrow, and let's see, maybe we can write something on stream. But thank you for joining me. It's been 2 hours, so thank you for joining me, and I'll be seeing you guys, hopefully tomorrow before Christmas. And so please enjoy. Please enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Yourself.